All right, I've got my friend Andy Matthews on the line. Andy, it is great to see you again. I wish we were in person, but man, I cannot believe here we are at Hope Conference this weekend, and we are, what a year it has been. But thanks for joining us, and thanks again for Acaria for sponsoring this weekend. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, thanks for being here, Jonathan. And I think, like you, all of you, this is my first, not my first virtual event, but definitely, unfortunately, I've done a few now, but it's my first national, definitely hope virtual event. And it'll all get better. I definitely have faith. We're not going to stay in the virtual world forever in the hemophilia business. That's for sure. I hope. I don't think you agree.
I do agree. And, you know, one thing I was just reading an article, I guess it was yesterday, about somebody that was saying that, you know, we need personal contact. We need to be able to see each other's expressions and to feel, you know, the emotions in the room when we're talking. And that's the thing I do miss about being in person, is that you just don't get all the, you know, all the body language and all the little things that you pick up on when you're in the room together. But you know, I am thankful that we have technology like this, so we can still have some contact, but I'm ready to get out of the 2D and move back into the 4D, or whatever you call that, world. So, but this is a good Band-Aid, good fix for the moment. So, but man, we've got so much going on this weekend, and I just wanted to take maybe a few minutes for people who might not know you and know your background, is just to talk a little bit about you're affected with a bleeding disorder yourself personally, and also you work for a specialty pharmacy that helps people with bleeding disorders. Is that right?
Absolutely. I work for Specialty Therapeutic Care. We're based in Houston, Texas. We have been in business a long time. I personally have one of the very rare few that have been in one field forever. I graduated Stephen F. Austin back in 1989, the end of it, and in 1991 I went to work for a major home care company, and I literally in college called the guy that sent me my factor, and I said, man, I would really like to do this. I like sales, I like marketing, I definitely like helping people, helping patients with hemophilia. And he just told me to get a degree, and I did, and still took me a while, but eventually I got a job. And I've been doing it ever since. And I really have a passion. And if I could give a plug for young people, you know, find a passion that you like and stick with it. And before long, you'll be an expert at it. And if you're an expert at any field, you'll do well at it. You just have to stick with it long enough.
Yeah, that's good. Well, and you're also, you've been fortunate. You, of course, been around for a while. I don't know if you want to, you know, disclose your age, but you're down the road a little bit with this hemophilia thing, and you've seen your share of ups and downs, and of course all the different changes in treatment over the years. But you've been fortunate too to not have to have so many bleeds and joint damage. And I think some of that, I know I've heard you say it before, at least, that some of that's because you're so active and you're a big physical fitness proponent.
Well, Jonathan, I believe in a sense of humor. And I'll give you a little sense of humor. I'm only 27 years old, but I was born on February 6, 1966. So, dude, you might have to get
not very good at math either, huh?
You might have to get your calculator out. I won't tell you how old you are. You just have to pencil it a little bit. But I am very fortunate. I'm severe, factor VIII severe. The only reason I don't have any more, I mainly have a bad ankle, couple other bad joints, but mostly my ankle. And the only reason I don't have tons of bad joints is because we had a hematologist that had enough smarts to know, very simple, just like today, what's the key to hemophilia is get the factor in you as quick as possible. We do that now with what's called prophylaxis, but back then we didn't do prophylaxis. So he said, well, if you could get cryoprecipitate, which is basically like plasma, in your home, which is, you had to be in a deep freezer, you'd probably turn out okay and learn how to self-infuse at home. And I was one of the, if you meet any 50-plus-year-old hemophiliacs like myself, hardly any of them were able to do that. The reason they have such bad joints, if they didn't have an inhibitor, which they usually didn't, it's just because they had to spend hours at waiting rooms in hospitals. So I'm very fortunate. But yes, I do like to do a lot of physical fitness. I used to work out a lot. Now I'm getting older. I have kids. What I try to do is incorporate a workout in everything I do. From if my ankle's feeling good, fast walking through Home Depot, trying to take the stairs if I can do it. So I would definitely, everybody, I like to mountain biking is probably my thing, but I don't go to the gym as much. I try to do a lot of homemade stuff on a daily basis to stay fit and keep my weight down and so forth. And that is the key to hemophilia.
That's good. Well, I know that there's a lot of guys out there in different and gals that are watching this that are in different, affected in different ways, or maybe they have a friend or family member that's affected. But, I think a lot of people don't understand how difficult that is to live as long as we have, and yet still not have terrible joint damage. And it gives me a lot of hope, though, for the future, because medication's only gotten better. At-home use is commonplace now. There is so many advancements, and I think that as a result of that, it takes somebody to be really consistent and diligent. And so you've done that. You've been a great example of that, and you're far ahead of the curve, of course, for your generation, but also for really the folks coming up now, giving a lot of hope that even if they have a diagnosis like this, it is possible to live a full and healthy lifestyle with treatment and with access to medications.
Absolutely. If I had a kid with hemophilia, which I don't, I have two boys, obviously, they can't have hemophilia. But if I did, I would let them do most of the things my boys do. Maybe not run cross country, but maybe golf or, there's other things, physical things that kids today with a bleeding disorder can do and live very normal life. I live a very normal life myself.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I think is critical is, again, that access to medication aspect of it. And I know that later on this weekend, you're going to be really doing a deep dive on health insurance. We all have to live with that. The issue is that it takes two things, I think, right, to manage your hemophilia well, and that is having access to the medication, and then your own personal consistency and your discipline to treat and care for yourself. But I do believe that without those two things, life can be still very difficult. You look at some of the places like in third world countries around the world who don't have access to medication, and it is a very difficult life living with severe hemophilia. In some ways, a very shortened life expectancy for that. But as long as you have access to care, that's important. But a lot of people still struggle with maintaining their insurance. Wouldn't you say that's a difficult thing for us in this country?
Absolutely. So please tune in to our session. Y'all will be sending links out exactly when it will be. I'm going to dive in, and I'm not saying I'm the greatest expert on insurance, but I do spend a lot of time at it. And I have a passion about helping guys, find insurance or gals, finding ways to potentially pay for their insurance. I will say one good thing and I'll talk more about it in that, with hemophilia, there's a little bit of a golden spot that a lot of patients have that other disease states, that take your pick of worse diseases, and most of them don't sing the praises of some of the individual policies that you can buy today. But a lot of times people with hemophilia, it works beautifully, better than the average person that does not have hemophilia. So just that'll be a little caveat to give you, but it'll be a gift that's given to all of us potentially, that is a good thing. You have to look for the gems sometimes in all of this.
Yeah. Well, I know you're really great at being able to help people find unique solutions to really unique problems in their health insurance process. So I'm excited to be a part of that and to really join the conversation in getting into the weeds. I know some of the things you're going to be addressing is things like the accumulator issue, copay assistance, premium assistance, third-party exclusions, some of the challenges with overcoming PBM mandates. So I believe that people are really going to get a lot out of this. This is not just your surface level, health insurance for beginners 101 type session. This is going to be a deep dive that we're going to get into the weeds of some of the things that are challenges we're facing now. But I know, Andy, one of the things you and I had talked about before is that you're going to address some of the things that are really kind of coming down the pike, that we've got some really big changes that could be potential. And of course, we can't speak to all the changes that are happening, but we can talk about some of the challenges that we see and some of the challenges that we could be facing and what people need to be thinking about in terms of making adjustments to prepare for those challenges.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, tune in. I'm a big believer in, I used to always ask why everything. Why does something work this way? Why do they do this? Well, many times people in the bleeding disorder don't really ask the why. They just accept it. Well, if you understand the why behind it, at some point down the line, it will really help you understand the whole big picture. And that's what we'll get into a little bit. I think we'll get into some of the stuff that they talk about or don't talk about at some of the national meetings. And I don't think you'll find it boring at all. So please tune in, because once you deal with hemophilia, you can stop your bleeds, control your bleeds, get on a regimen that works. Think about it. The only other thing left is managing how you're going to pay for it. And today in this world, we pay for it through insurance of some sort. So that's what we'll talk about, which is the hottest topic of anybody has today.
Yeah, very true. Well, thank you so much again for sponsoring this weekend. A lot of people may not know this, but Especially Therapeutic Care was one of the very first corporate sponsors we ever had as an organization. You saw the vision of what we were trying to do super early on, and I just want to say a big thank you, not just for supporting us in this time, but man, thank you for supporting us through the years, because it's really been, we've been able to help so many people. One of the things I love so much about you and your company as a whole is you guys truly have a heart for helping people practically, whether it's through insurance or being able to help meet their questions when they arise. And you go above and beyond, I think, in terms of helping service people in ways that really is just not the norm. So thank you so much for all you do for the community, for us, for everybody's lives that are made better because you're there. We really do.
Well, I think everybody just does need a little hope. I love that that's in your name, because that's at the end of the day what most people need is some positive hope.
That's right. So true. All right, Andy, it's great to see you, and we'll see you at your session in just a while.
Okay.
All right, bye now.